The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Hello, my name is Donny Jackson, and welcome back to the Bronx Journal. As children, we have all had that one fictional character we wanted to be. Whether it was Batman, Wonder Woman, or James Bond, we may have wanted to dress and imitate that person to the best of our ability. If we weren't watching them on television, reading books and magazines seemed to give you that extra feeling of being a part of the story. Comic books are still hugely popular and have a culture all of their own. If you think reading these comics is fun, how about being able to make your own? Ivan Velez is here from the Bronx Museum of the Arts to let you know how to make those dreams of yours a reality. Welcome, Ivan.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Very happy to be here.
Thank you, man. So, how did you come up with the idea for this program?
Well, I used to be a cartoonist, and when I worked for Marvel and DC Comics, and Milestone especially, I thought that it would be nice to kind of teach the skills that I learned to my community, particularly kids of color. There was kind of like a scarcity of any people of color in the business, so I thought, hey, let's go and teach these kids how to do it so they can take it over later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have like a favorite comic book? What's your favorite comic book, man?
It depends. When I was a kid, I was into the Casper, I read everything: Spider-Man, Casper, Fantastic Four, a lot of Superman stuff, a lot of Wonder Woman, even Supergirl was kind of fun for me.
Okay, and have you ever created your own comic book already?
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this. I do my own series, Tales of the Closet. I did Blood Syndicate, Static Shock before it was Static for Milestone. I did Ghost Rider for 3 years in Marvel Comics, so I've been around for a little while.
Okay, and how's the process of that in terms of making your own comic?
It's a long process. I'm lucky to be like a cartoonist. I know how to write and draw at the same time. So as long as you can keep the story together and kind of have a little bit of discipline, you can get it done as long as you go little by little and know what you're doing. And part of the stuff that I teach the kids is how to create a story and how to actually see it through to the end and how to kind of structure it so it'll be easy for them to like actually accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first started getting into comic books?
Oh my goodness. My mother will tell you that I was like drawing on the TV with stuff I shouldn't be drawing with. But I think ever since I was a little kid, back in the 60s, maybe I started really when I was 4, when I first started learning how to read. Okay. I was just fascinated, it became my life back then. And I see that a lot of little kids right now, it's particularly with manga and the Japanese comics. That seems to be the art form that's bringing a lot of the kids back to reading and back to the libraries. So when I started doing my classes I started doing it for the New York Public Libraries, the Bronx Museum, a Spirit program, so the Queens Library, and I just started developing this class, and it just took out of its own life. So I was lucky to get a grant from the Bronx Council on the Arts, and I think the DCA, and the Community Arts grant too, and the Bronx Museum is actually hosting it right now. Okay. I actually used to do it at the Bronx Library Center, but I'm very happy to be back at the Bronx Museum because I have some very good memories from students and the classes about maybe 12 years ago when I first started there. And a lot of the kids I started with are actually artists now, and I'm very proud of that, and they actually help with the classes and become my interns.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
I'm getting really old.
So some of the people who may not know, you want to give what is a manga?
Manga. Manga is like a Japanese comic. It's just a Japanese word for comic. Like in Chinese is manhwa, in Spanish komikos. And it's a particular style, particularly big-eyed style, that kids just really seem to connect to all over the world. And the Bronx is one of the big little spots in New York for manga readers. Okay. Especially cosplayers too, kids who dress up as the characters as well. Yeah.
So do you see you trying to take this maybe national or to a different states? Or?
That would be nice. I think I have to incorporate a little bit of something. I have a website, planetbronx.com, and it's also kind of like my little production company. So I think we're going to try to break into like teaching kids how to make films and how to write scripts and stuff like that. Cartooning is a very good it's kind of like a gateway skill where you can learn how to read and write, and it's good with your educational skills. But then later on, trying to find work, you learn all this graphic software. You can learn how to write scripts in storyboarding and do all this stuff, and you can go in different places to work.
Okay. And so how was it working for Marvel, man? How was that?
Well, it was a good job. It was my best place was Milestone, which was like kind of like an offshoot of DC Comics when we had Static Shock, and it was characters of color, and it was characters of different orientations and different nationalities and cultures, and it was just a very good mixed bag. And it was probably my best time in the comics there. I'm very proud of that time there.
Okay. So you want to explain a little bit about the actual Comic Hero program that you're working on right now?
Yeah, Comic Culture is broken into like 2 different sets. We have Comic Culture Junior for little kids, maybe from 8 to 13, where they're learning the basic skills of drawing and sketching. So we have like a model come in dressed as a superhero, and we'll have them sketch them out, and give them different media to play with, different drawing materials, just so they get a feel for it. And we start teaching them how to tell stories, very simple stuff. Once they graduate there, they're eligible for the Comic Culture X program, which is for teenagers, which they can really develop. And the teenagers that I'm very proud of, the teenagers that have come there, and they've really excelled in a lot of their drawing and their writing, and I'm pretty proud of that. And we even have like a program for adults coming soon too. Well, on June 15th at the Bronx Museum, we have the whole 2nd floor, and on Father's Day, and we're doing like a big adult event. So no kids allowed there because we're gonna draw, but we're also gonna have a pop-up show and just have some fun.
Okay. So is it important to know how to draw when you're doing this? Is that like an important thing?
Not really. I did most of my work as a writer, even though I do know how to draw and I've done my own series. But it's important to kind of learn how to tell a story. And most of the people who are very successful in comics, they tend to be the writers, and they tend to go on often to television and movies and films and commercial work, even novels. So as long as you can learn how to tell a basic story, it doesn't really matter so much. You can even edit too. You can be a production guy. You can be a print guy. You could work in the office. You can actually be a pay stuff guy. You don't really have to draw to work in comics.
Okay.
And
how do you feel this program can help kids in the borough of the Bronx?
Well, I think part of my mission is for them to see, not to just take the images and the messages they get from the culture. We're such a consumer culture that they just buy this, buy that, buy Superman, buy Batman, all that kind of stuff. I want them to start thinking on their own way and see the messages as they are, and try to control their own messages that they want to send out, and maybe change the culture that way. Because the best way to change, I think, a society is through the pop culture. I mean, I really believe that, and I want to give them the skills to do that.
Okay. And often, comic books is really associated with boys. So, do you see yourself having a lot of boys? And if so, how do you feel you might be able to get maybe more girls to be a part of this program?
Well, it's true. Traditionally, especially back in the old days, girls were kind of pushed away from stuff like comics and stuff, or they would push the really girly comics. But thank goodness for Manga, which seems to have brought in not only girls, but I think 60% of the readers are not girls. And the American comic books are actually catching up with that and having more respect for the girls reader, because they love stories. They love everything that the boys love. And it's good for the boys to kind of see that girls are reading this stuff too, so they're more sensitive not only to the surroundings and their own family, but how women should be treated in general anyway. Look at Wonder Woman. She hasn't got her own movie out of all this time. And right now they're starting with the idea of that. It's because more girls are reading it now.
Okay. So do you ever see any, maybe, being part of Comic-Con or?
Yeah, I've been on panels before. San Diego, New York Comic-Con and stuff like that. I've been, I think last time I went was 2 years ago. I was on a panel. But bringing the kids over, I've done that before. I've even brought the kids over to DC Comics offices and given them like a tour back in the day.
Okay.
I think Bronx Heroes has their own Comic-Con, and I love the kids to go there. And it's very local and kind of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ivan, again for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you having me here tonight.
Thank you.
Man.
It was very nice meeting you.
Thank you. So you want to give your information any way people can reach you?
Sure. Anybody who wants to have classes for the kids or want to join Comic Culture X Comic Culture Junior, go to www.planetbronx.com. That's one space, planetbronx.com. And I'm also available to teach after school programs, any classes you want to teach. I'm here for that.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon on another edition of the Bronx Journal.